What if I told you, one man connected presidents, billionaires, royalty, and walked freely among the most powerful people on earth? A man whose private island became a symbol of secrecy. A name that shook the United States, and sent shockwaves across the United Kingdom and beyond. His name was Jeffrey Epstein. But the real mystery isn't just what he did. It's who knew, and who is still silent. Tonight, we open the files. Jeffrey Epstein was born in Brooklyn, New York, United States. Without a college degree, he rose through elite financial circles. By the 1980s, he claimed to manage billions for the ultra-wealthy. But questions about how he made his fortune never fully disappeared. Epstein wasn't just wealthy. He was connected. He was photographed with American presidents, British royalty, tech billionaires, and global power brokers. His network stretched from the United States to the United Kingdom. In 2008, in Florida, United States, Epstein was arrested. He faced serious charges involving underage girls. But what shocked the nation was not just the charges, it was the deal he received. A controversial plea agreement allowed him to serve minimal jail time. Little St. James, a private island in the U.S. Virgin Islands, owned by Epstein. Later described by media as the center of disturbing allegations. The island became a symbol of secrecy and power. As the years passed, more women came forward in the United States. They described being teenagers when they first met Jeffrey Epstein. Many alleged they were manipulated with promises of money, education, or career opportunities. Their testimonies painted a disturbing pattern. Recruitment, isolation, silence. For years, they felt ignored. But slowly, their voices began to grow louder. And what was once whispered, became international headlines. In July 2019, in New York, United States, federal authorities arrested Jeffrey Epstein again. This time, the charges were far more serious. Federal prosecutors accused him of operating a trafficking network involving minors. The arrest shocked the world. Many believed justice had finally caught up. But this case would take an unexpected turn, one that would fuel global controversy. Federal prosecutors alleged that Epstein used his wealth and influence to exploit vulnerable young girls. They claimed a structured system existed, involving recruitment, payments, and secrecy. Epstein denied the allegations. His legal team prepared for trial. If convicted, he faced decades in prison. The trial promised to expose powerful connections. But the courtroom drama would never fully unfold. Jeffrey Epstein was held at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in Manhattan, New York. The facility housed high-profile inmates. In August 2019, reports emerged that Epstein had been found unresponsive in his cell. Soon after, officials confirmed his death. The official ruling, suicide. But almost immediately, doubts began to spread. The news exploded across the United States and beyond. How could one of the most high-profile prisoners die under federal custody? Social media erupted. Conspiracy theories spread rapidly. Public trust in institutions was shaken. For many, Epstein's death raised more questions than answers. And those questions still echo today. After Epstein's death, the United States Department of Justice launched an internal investigation. Officials promised transparency. Questions focused on prison staff, surveillance failures, and procedural errors. 2 guards were later charged with falsifying records. But for many Americans, the investigation did little to restore trust. Attention soon shifted to Ghislaine Maxwell. Born in the United Kingdom, she moved within elite circles in both the UK and the United States. Prosecutors later alleged she played a key role in recruiting young girls. Maxwell denied the accusations. Her name would soon dominate global headlines. In July 2020, Ghislaine Maxwell was arrested in New Hampshire, United States. Federal prosecutors charged her with assisting Epstein in trafficking activities. Her arrest signaled that the investigation was far from over. For victims, it represented a possible second chance at justice. In 2021, Maxwell's trial began in New York. Witnesses testified about events dating back decades. Prosecutors presented documents and personal accounts. The courtroom became the center of global attention. This time, the legal process moved forward. In December 2021, Ghislaine Maxwell was found guilty on multiple charges in the United States. She was later sentenced to prison. The verdict marked a significant moment in the Epstein saga. But many still asked, was this the full story? Or just one chapter in a much larger network? One of the most controversial names linked to the Epstein case was Prince Andrew of the United Kingdom. He had previously been photographed with Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. Prince Andrew denied any wrongdoing. However, public scrutiny intensified after a televised interview in 2019. The controversy placed significant pressure on the British monarchy. Several civil lawsuits were filed in the United States by alleged victims. Some cases resulted in financial settlements. In 2022, Prince Andrew reached an out-of-court settlement in a U.S. civil case, while continuing to deny allegations. These legal actions kept the story alive, even after Epstein's death. Another major focus was Epstein's private jet flight logs. Documents revealed names of high-profile individuals who had traveled on his aircraft. However, appearing on a flight log did not automatically imply wrongdoing. Still, public curiosity intensified. The question remained, who knew what? In 2023 and 2024, U.S. courts released previously sealed documents connected to the Epstein case. The files included testimonies, names, and legal records. Many details were already known. Others reignited debate. But the documents reminded the world. This story was far from forgotten. The Epstein scandal went beyond one man. It raised serious concerns about power, influence, and accountability in the United States and the United Kingdom. Many questioned how elite networks operate. Others demanded reforms. The case became a symbol of unanswered questions and fragile public trust. Even after document releases, many records remained sealed by U.S. courts. Legal experts explained that privacy laws and ongoing protections limited what could be made public. For some, this was standard legal procedure. For others, it fueled suspicion. Transparency became one of the biggest demands surrounding the case. Online discussions began speculating about intelligence connections. Some conspiracy theories suggested foreign or domestic agencies may have known more. However, no verified public evidence confirmed such claims. Experts warned that speculation often spreads faster than facts. Still, the rumors added another layer to the mystery. Investigative journalists played a crucial role in exposing the Epstein story. Reports from major U.S. newspapers reignited the case years after the first plea deal. Media pressure forced institutions to respond. But it also raised questions about why earlier warnings were overlooked. The power of journalism became central to the narrative. The case sparked debate about the American justice system. Why did Epstein receive a controversial plea deal in 2008? How do wealth and influence affect legal outcomes? Lawmakers discussed reforms. Activists demanded equal accountability. The scandal became a case study in power and privilege. Many analysts argue the Epstein case reflects something larger than one individual. It highlights how powerful networks can operate quietly for years. While individuals face consequences, systems often remain intact. That reality leaves one final question. Has anything truly changed? After years of silence, survivor advocacy groups became louder and more organized. In the United States and beyond, activists pushed for legal reform and victim protection. The Epstein case empowered many survivors to speak publicly. For them, this was no longer just a scandal. It was a movement for accountability. Epstein's death inside a federal jail raised serious concerns about prison oversight in the United States. Reports revealed staffing shortages and surveillance failures. Critics argued that systemic weaknesses allowed critical mistakes. Federal authorities promised reforms. But public confidence had already been shaken. Another lingering question surrounded Epstein's wealth. How did he build such extraordinary financial power? While he claimed to manage money for elite clients, details remained limited. Financial experts debated his true business model. Even after his death, the mystery of his fortune remained unresolved. The scandal created political pressure in both the United States and the United Kingdom. Lawmakers faced questions about oversight and accountability. Some politicians called for deeper investigations. Others remained cautious. The case became politically sensitive on both sides of the Atlantic. In the digital age, stories never truly disappear. Online communities continue to analyze documents and debate unanswered questions. The Epstein case lives on through podcasts, documentaries, and social media discussions. Public memory, powered by the internet, keeps the conversation alive. One of the biggest debates was whether elite networks protect their own. Critics argued that wealth and influence often create invisible shields. Supporters of the system countered that legal processes must follow evidence, not suspicion. The Epstein case became a symbol of this tension between power and accountability. Epstein moved in elite social circles across the United States and the United Kingdom. Access to powerful environments gave him credibility. Experts say proximity to influence can create perceived legitimacy. Sometimes, reputation opens doors that scrutiny never reaches, until it's too late. Psychologists analyzing the case pointed to grooming patterns. Allegations described gradual trust building, financial incentives, and isolation. Manipulation rarely begins with force. It often begins with opportunity. Understanding these patterns became essential for prevention. Large institutions often rely on internal trust systems. But blind spots can form when power goes unquestioned. The Epstein scandal exposed how warning signs may be overlooked. Whether by negligence or by assumption, it became a lesson in institutional vulnerability. At its core, the Epstein case forced a global question. Do the powerful face the same consequences as everyone else? Some believe justice eventually prevailed. Others remain skeptical. But one thing is certain, the conversation about privilege and accountability is far from over. The 2008 plea deal in Florida, United States, remains one of the most controversial aspects of the case. Prosecutors agreed to a non-prosecution agreement that limited federal charges. Years later, critics questioned how such a deal was approved. Was it legal strategy, or a failure of oversight? From the 1990s social circles, to the 2008 plea deal, to the 2019 arrest and death. The Epstein timeline spans decades. Each chapter reveals moments where intervention might have changed the outcome. Looking back, the warning signs appear clearer than ever. There are confirmed facts, arrests, court records, convictions. And then there are unanswered questions, about networks, knowledge, and oversight. Separating evidence from speculation became essential. Because in high-profile cases, rumor often travels faster than truth. The Epstein case impacted institutions in both the United States and the United Kingdom. Trust in powerful systems was shaken. While governments continued functioning, public perception shifted. Transparency became a louder demand than ever before. Reputation, once damaged, is difficult to rebuild. The Epstein case will likely be remembered as one of the most controversial scandals of the 21st century. Not only because of the allegations, but because of the questions it left behind. It became a story about power, silence, and accountability. And its legacy continues to unfold. One persistent question remains: was Jeffrey Epstein operating alone? Court records confirmed associates, but speculation often goes far beyond verified evidence. Experts caution that complex social networks don't always imply coordinated crime. Still, the idea of a larger network continues to fuel debate worldwide. Following Epstein's death, a victims' compensation program was established in the United States. Many claimants received financial settlements. For some survivors, it offered recognition. For others, no amount of money could repair the damage. Justice, they argued, means more than compensation. Over time, the Epstein case evolved into more than a news story. It became a subject of documentaries, podcasts, and endless online analysis. In the digital era, high-profile scandals transform into modern myths. Blending fact, theory, and emotion. Separating truth from narrative remains a challenge. Beyond individuals, the Epstein scandal forced a broader reflection. How do systems respond when power meets vulnerability? Institutions promise fairness, but trust must be earned and protected. The real test lies not in scandal, but in reform. Years later, the Epstein case still echoes through public discourse. Some believe justice partially prevailed. Others believe critical truths remain hidden. But one reality is clear: the scandal changed how the world views power, influence, and accountability. Survivors' voices now lead the conversation. Their courage transformed a story of exploitation into a call for change. Every testimony reminds the world: behind headlines and rumors are real human lives, and real pain that deserves recognition. The Epstein case transcended borders. From the United States to the United Kingdom, and beyond, it sparked global awareness of exploitation and abuse. People began questioning institutions, power structures, and accountability. This scandal became a global lesson. From legal reform to survivor advocacy, lessons emerged. Preventing exploitation requires vigilance, transparency, and accountability. The Epstein case reminds us, silence allows abuse to thrive. Awareness and action are the first steps toward justice. In the digital age, the story continues to evolve. Podcasts, documentaries, and social media ensure the case is never forgotten. Public memory, fueled by technology, keeps questioning and learning. The Epstein story lives on, not just in headlines, but in society's conscience. The Epstein case will be remembered not just for scandal, but for what it revealed about power, privilege, and responsibility. Its legacy is a warning and a lesson that vigilance, justice, and humanity must never sleep, and the conversation is far from over.